ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरकृषे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, so from last 2 3 days, we were discussing about some questions, especially some questions about how to tackle with the disturbances of mind. So now we'll proceed ahead with our original discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I think we discussed from Bhagavad Gita first chapter and verse number 28 we did. Arjuna Vacha Drishtva Imam Swajanam Krishna Yuyutsum Samupasthitam Siddhanti Mama Gatrani Mukham Cha Parishishyate. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. And then he says, Vepatuscha sarire me romaharsascha jayate Gandivam shramsate hasta tvakshaiva paridahyate. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. These are the symptoms Arjuna is experiencing on his body because of observing the relatives and friends present before him in a fighting spirit. So because of developing this Dehatma Buddhi, bodily consciousness, thinking oneself to be body and identifying others who are related with the body. So in a bodily consciousness. So because of this bodily consciousness, illusory conception of life, false conception of life, bodily conception of life, Dehatma Buddhi. So Arjuna is experiencing this lamentation, the distress, a disturbance, the distress or disturbances of mind Arjuna is experiencing. So in these two verses, which we discussed 2 3 days back, verse number 28 from onwards, Arjuna is explaining his condition, his conditioning. Arjuna is explaining his conditioning, how much he is conditioned by the modes of material nature, bodily conception of life. So in verse number 28 and 29, Arjuna explained about the symptoms of bodily symptoms he explained, which he is experiencing out of great lamentation or disturbances. So what are those bodily symptoms he is experiencing? He says, Siddhanti mama gatrani. Gatrani means limbs. Limbs of my body are quivering, trembling. Mukham cha parishushyati. My mouth is drying up. Vepatuscha sarire mein. There is trembling over the body. Romharsascha jayate. Hairs on the body are standing on end. And Gandivam Shamsate Hasta, there is perspiration over the body and in his hand also. And Gandivam, his Dhanush, famous bow, Gandiva is slipping from his hand. And finally, Tvaksha Chaiva Paridahiyate, his entire skin is burning. There is burning sensation. And as Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, although it is not mentioned, but we can understand from these conditions which Arjuna is mentioning that he was also crying. There were tears also in his eyes. So these are the symptoms of external body, which is getting manifested out of great lamentation. Now, in today's verse number 30, Arjuna is going to explain the symptoms of his mind. What is the status of his mind? What is the mind's condition, which is rather more important to know. So Arjuna says, न च शक्नोमि अवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव. O Keshav, I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of the Kesi demon. So in this verse, Arjuna is telling, is explaining the symptoms which he is experiencing in the mind. What is this condition of mind? He says, Nacha saknomi avasthatum. First of all, he says, I am unable to stand here any longer, my dear Krishna. What to speak of fighting with my friends and relatives? The very thought of uh, battling with them is making me fearful. So much fearful, so much so that I can no longer stand here. That is his condition. Uh, Na saknomi avasthatum. Na saknomi means I am unable. Avasthatum means to stay. That means he is planning to immediately run away from the battlefield. Just see the condition. The same Arjuna, few minutes back, he was fully prepared. Gandivam um, uh, pravritte sastra sampate dhanuruddamya pandava. Pravritte, he was pravritta, means he was fully inclined to fight. Dhanur udyamya, he had lifted his bow, Gandiva, to fight. That means he was just about to shoot the arrow. And he requested Krishna that please put the chariot in between the two armies so that I may see who is the person with whom I have to fight. So let me see and observe. But he had already lifted his bow. That means while observing, if somebody, he sees anyone, he can immediately start fighting with that person. That was his condition. But now see, after after experiencing this bodily consciousness, uh, she is telling, and now my condition is that I am unable to stand here any longer. What to speak of fighting? He's feeling that he cannot even stay on the battlefield. That is his condition. Just imagine. So this is the result of developing bodily consciousness. The same person who may be very enthusiastic uh, in his spiritual life, in performing devotional service, very enthusiastic, very sincere, serious, very eager for the service, for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. As soon as there is development of bodily concept of life, there is some material attachment comes in front. Immediately, the same person takes U-turn without any with no time. In no time, the same person may take U-turn and go back to the material field. That is the influence of this material world. Attachment of material existence is so powerful. This bodily consciousness, uh, bodily attachment is so powerful. Dehatma buddhi. Considering oneself to be this body is so powerful that as soon as one comes across in front of his bodily relatives, friends, circle, he immediately forgets all his spiritual goals, all duties to perform. And we see this is very practical. Those devotees who come in the association of devotees and who live away from their relatives, friends, and parents for the time being. And when they come in contact with the devotees, they hear Bhagavad Gita classes, they get darshan of the Supreme Lord. Then they start chanting 16 rounds also. They become very jubilant. They become very pakka in attending programs, and they become very pure, pure. All their bad habits are gone, and there is nice effulgence coming out of their face, very enthusiastic spiritually. But as soon as they go home, and as soon as they come across, and they come in the association of their material friend circle, relatives, friends and relatives, the whole enthusiasm is lost. They are again stuck up in material attachments, and then they lose everything. Just like Arjuna's Gandiva is slipping from his hand. Similarly, the bead slips out of the hand of the devotee who goes away from the association of devotees and lives in the association of material friends and relatives. So this is the effect we can see. So this is the power of material association, material attachment, developing material attachment. That's why uh, a spiritualist, a devotee who is interested to make progress in spiritual life, he should be very careful and fearful of material association. He should be very careful and fearful. He should try his best to avoid material association. So, what is material association? Material association means to associate with non-devotees and to become intimate with them, uh, to share our heart with them, to get involved in the liking and disliking with the materialistic people. But if somebody, some devotee who may be a student or a job person, working professional, if he is associating with materialistic people, non-devotees, only for the sake of his studies or his duties, material duties, job, business, then he will not get entangled because he is not associating with the heart. He is only associating with brain. Whatever is required at the level of intelligence, okay, let it be done. But he is not giving his heart in that association. Rather, his heart is there in the association of devotees. His heart is there, already placed at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Then there will be no danger. But because uh, we are we are in the beginning stage, so we are more accustomed or more inclined towards getting involved in material association. So that's why it may be a risky job also. That's why those who cannot avoid materialistic association, those devotees, they should have very nice, powerful morning program. Then morning program is powerful. Nicely, they should get up early in the morning. They should very nicely, attentively chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and hear at least one Bhagavatam class. Then their consciousness will remain pure and spiritual consciousness will remain. And then even if they go out in the daytime for job, business, or studies, they will not get entangled. Otherwise, there is a great possibility that even a very powerful devotee, even a very pakka devotee, serious in spiritual life, who may be practicing Krishna consciousness from last many, many years, 15, 20, 30, 50 years also. He may, if he slacks, if he is not careful and fearful of material association, and if he is not careful in the execution of his sadhana bhakti, then he may also get deviated and get affected as Arjuna is getting affected here because of material attachment. So Arjuna is experiencing so much attachment, so much fear is generated in Arjuna's heart that he says, I am unable to stand here any longer. Nacha saknomi avasthatum. It is not possible at all to remain here. And what else is happening? Brahmativa chame manaha. My mind is reeling. Reeling means is wandering. Uh, and Srila Prabhupada is writing, forgetting. Brahmanti matlab forgetting. I am forgetting myself. And my mind is reeling. I am forgetting myself. Who am I? So one forgets, practically one forgets himself. And it happens when a devotee He has no very pakka morning program, and he slacks. He becomes very sometimes very slack, dhila in performing sadhana bhakti. Then, because of carelessness, this happens sometimes. He even forgets that I am a devotee. When he comes in the association of non-devotees, he practically forgets that I'm not supposed to do certain things. There are cases when devotee, when he goes out with some non-devotees, he becomes so much influenced by that association that he practically starts breaking the regulatory principles also. He starts eating all kinds of nonsense thing and other nonsense activities he starts performing, and after doing those activities he comes to the sense, oh my god, I forgot that I was a devotee. So that is called Brahmati Vichame Mana, that I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. His mind uh, wanders like anything, and no good instructions can stay within his heart. Whatever he has heard, whatever he has read, and whatever he has practiced, it all uh, is covered. It cannot be destroyed, definitely. A devotee, any person who has done any devotional service, any service to Krishna by chanting, reading, hearing, or any kind of services, practical services, so it cannot be destroyed. No amount of material influence can destroy that. But if a devotee, if he is not careful, then those devotional services, those impressions, those chanting, reading, hearing, and services and knowledge is temporarily covered by the excessive bodily attachment. So when it is covered, the curtain is there, then that devotee forgets that I am a devotee, I am not supposed to do certain things. Then he becomes so much excessively attached to material association, and then he goes on performing non-devotional activity. In this way, Brahmati Vichame Mana, his mind uh, reels like anything. That means he wanders, sitting on the chariot of mind, Manorathe Nasati Dhavato Bahi. Sitting on the chariot of mind, he simply wanders Bahi externally in the external world. And finally, when he comes to the senses, he realizes that, oh, I committed this mistake. What to do, what to do, no, what not to do. So that he should have considered before. So if we remain very careful in the beginning itself, and all the time, then there will be no chance of getting entangled in the activities of Maya. So Arjuna is feeling like this. Here, I am no longer unable to stand here any longer, and I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. And what is in that condition? What happens? I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of city. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani Keshava. Nimittani cha pashyami. Pashyami means I only see. What you see? Nimittani, causes of viparitani, viparit result. Viparit result. All opposite result. So that is another result of developing material consciousness. As soon as we develop material consciousness, uh, material attachment, dehatma buddhi, bhautik asakti, and we forget our real self. When we forget our real self, that we are a spirit soul, we are eternal servant of Krishna, then immediately there is nimittani pashyami viparitani. Whatever we will plan, everything opposite happens. Nothing will go as per our desire. If we act materially, all the things, all the endeavors, all the activities will become, all our material endeavors and material activities will become the cause for giving us opposite result. This is a fact, 100% sure. For example, everyone in this material world, what they desire permanent life, they desire happiness, uh, they desire freedom from miseries, This is all things are desired by every materialistic person. Freedom from all kinds of problems and miseries, and permanent life, permanent settlement, and happiness. This is what is desired by all everyone. So, but if you can analyze, if you see, uh, so all any materialistic person who has acted materially, uh, he had only received the opposite result. Although everyone desires permanent life, but there is no permanent life. Everyone has to die. That is the end result of all material activity. Uh, so this is Viparitani result, Viparit result. So material, the more one performs material activities, the more one goes nearer to death. This is the Viparit result. That means nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keswa. Nimittani. These material attachments, material activities, materialistic activities, they become the cause for Viparit result. We desire, everyone desires to have permanent life, but materialistic activities will make sure that your permanent life is ruined and your life is finished. One gets, ultimately one comes nearer and nearer to death, and life is finished. So this is viparitani, viparit result. Another thing, everyone desires to have happiness in life. So the more one tries, the more one endeavors very hard to get material happiness through material activity, materialistic activities. What is the end result? Those same activities, same endeavors becomes the cause for viparita, opposite result. That means miseries. Instead of getting happiness, one only and only gets miserable situation of life, miseries, problems, that's all. Sadness, distress, depression, anxiety, lamentation, that's all. This is all is received. This is all is the gift we get by performing materialistic activities. So that is why there's nimittani cha pashyami viparitani, viparit result. So whatever endeavor we put, that becomes a cause for viparit result, what we desire. Opposite result gives. And third thing, everyone is trying very hard to remove problems and miseries from his life, but opposite happens. One may be able to remove a particular specific problem from one's life by materialistic endeavor, but that endeavor, that materialistic solution, which may temporarily remove the miserable miseries or problems of life, but that same solution or same materialistic endeavor will become the cause or source of many other kinds of miserable situations, many other kinds of problems in his life. This is also a fact. Just like modern amenities, modern technological advancement. This modern technological advancement, scientific advancement has had been developed with the idea, with the thought, with the hope that using modern technologies, scientific advancement will remove the problems of life and make the life more comfortable, more easygoing, more suitable living, so that we can become free from miseries of these physical problems, mental problems, all these things. So, to certain degrees, because of scientific advancement, some of the miserable situation of the physical body have been reduced, destroyed. But the same solution has created many other kinds of miseries and problems in life. Just like earlier, there were no motor cars, so there was problem in traveling from one place to another place. One has to go either by walking, or one can take a bullock cart or chariot cart. That's all. So, but that is also very miserable. Uh, so in order to remove the miseries and give comfort to the body, scientific advancement developed motor car. Now we have motor cars, aeroplanes, so many facilities. So definitely we have reduced or we have finished the problem of transportation from one place to another place. But it has created many other kinds of problems, just like traffic problem, pollution problem. Mental problem is the biggest problem. People are traveling from one place to another place, and because of too much traveling, they are becoming mentally ill, frustrated, and irritated, anxious, anxiety, so many problems. That's why this is simple formula. So whatever material endeavor will put, materialistic ideas will apply, because of lack of spiritual knowledge, uh, because of becoming engrossed in dehatma buddhi, material attachments, whatever solution will develop, whatever materialistic activities will perform, that will only become the cause for our viparit result, opposite result. That is what is Arjuna is expecting here. So Arjuna is telling Krishna that, my dear Krishna, in this battlefield, I only see the causes of misfortune. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani kesava. Nimittani, causes of viparit result only I am seeing, my dear Lord. Uh, So we can also see that if we develop only material consciousness, dehatma buddhi, then definitely all our endeavors are going to become to give viparit result, opposite results. So due to his impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield. And he was forgetting himself on account of this weakness of his mind. Excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of existence. This is the result of excessive attachment for material things. If one develops too much attachment for material goals, material things, then definitely he is going to get so much bewildered that he will become so anxious, so impatient, and so anxietyful, stressful, that he will even forget himself, who is he, and his mind will become completely bewildered. He will not be able to control his mind, and he will feel no longer to remain here. And such a person, they start planning to commit suicide. Just like Arjuna is feeling, Nacha saknomi avasthatum. I am unable to stand here any longer. Similarly, a person who develops too much attachment for material enjoyment, sense enjoyment, material things, material goals in life, and he is put into such a bewildering condition of life that he forgets himself, and because of too much frustration, he feels that I cannot live even for a single moment, and he starts planning to commit suicide. So much fear is generated. Bhayam dityaviniveshadaha syat. Such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium take place in persons who are too affected by material conditions. Arjuna envisioned only painful reverses in the battlefield. He would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foe. The words nimittani viparitani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self-interest by Krishna's will. One's real self-interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjuna thought that his victory in the battle would only be cause of lamentation for him. So this is the result of misidentifying oneself with this body. As long as we misidentify ourselves with this body, that I am this body, and things and persons related with this body are mine, uh, till that time we will have to be uh, uh, fear, we will be in frustration, and we'll only find in our life everything causes of misfortune. Whatever endeavor we'll put, in whatever condition we'll come across, whatever people we'll meet with, deal with, we will always get the opposite result. That's why it's very much required that we develop a proper understanding through the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul, and we require to act on this platform of Krishna consciousness. Then we can save ourselves and others also. Okay, so thank you very much. With this, we shall stop. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, you can ask.
प्रभु, क्या कोई इंसान भौतिक जगत में इतना मतलब भगवान के जो बोलते हैं ना डिटैचमेंट को, दूरी को, जिसको भौतिक जगत में है, उससे इतना दुखी हो सकता है कि उसका मतलब इस तरह से होता है कि उसकी सोल कभी भी उसके शरीर को छोड़ सकती है? मतलब ऐसा होता है क्या? मतलब एक जस्ट क्वेश्चन था सर। हरे कृष्ण।
हाँ, होते हैं ऐसे, तभी तो ऐसे लोग सुसाइड कर लेते हैं. They become so much frustrated because of a person thinks of committing suicide because of getting too much attached for material things. When one develops too much excessive attachment for sense enjoyment, excessive attachment for material things, material people, material goals in life, then he has to face this condition. So much fear will get generated. He will be completely unable to control the mind. Mind will become completely uncontrolled. And in that condition, he will start feeling that I cannot I cannot live further. And that's why he commits suicide. So that is the greatest danger of getting attached for material things. That's why
नो
knowledge of
प्रभु,
Bhagavad Gita
फॉर
is so much
फॉर
required.
फॉर द सैडनेस आई एम सेइंग कि भगवान से दूरी के लिए जो सैडनेस फील होती है वो इतना ज्यादा हो सकती है क्या कि उसका शरीर छूट, मतलब आत्मा उसके शरीर से
Oh,
निकल जाए? हरे
no.
कृष्ण।
That is a different case. We are discussing about a person who develops material attachment. But you are asking a different question. That is spiritual, and that is all good if somebody can feel. But this is not so easy thing. It's not. It's a very rare to achieve in this world. Very few great souls can achieve that status, that they are unable to live even for a single moment without Lord. It's not so easy thing. We desire to develop such kind of attachment. Okay. Okay. So question is, how much time it will take us to reach that platform of spiritual platform where we become detached or unattached to material opinion, material things, materialistic people. So it depends upon you. So it is not a fixed time duration. It is the matter of understanding spiritual things. As soon as it doesn't depend upon time. As soon as we develop complete understanding of real knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, immediately we are free from this attachment, material attachment, and immediately we become completely indifferent to materialistic changes in our life. Okay. Yes. So if somebody thinks of committing suicide because of too much frustration, and he thinks that by committing suicide, I will become free, relieved, I will go in a peaceful zone. No, nothing is going to happen, because you will have to take birth again, and to accept a more miserable condition of life because of committing sin. So never ever think about it. Because of frustration, if somebody thinks that let me finish my life, then he is not actually finishing his life. He is endangering his life more and more, in more miserable situation of condition, in more miserable condition of life he is going to put himself. Because soul is never going to die, and he is going against the laws of material nature. We don't have right to produce, to give life, to give birth. Similarly, we don't have any right to destroy our life or anyone's life. So if we commit such sinful activity, then definitely we are going to be heavily punished. There is heavy punishment for those who commit sinful, suicidal activity. very, very heavy punishment. Okay. Okay, yes, please ask.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु,
Hare
आपको
Krishna.
जो सेवा आपने डिस्कस किया था कि आपको इतना अच्छा सेवा मिला है, तो आपका मन नहीं होता सुबह आप गौर रहता है कि सेवा करो? तो आप थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में थोड़ा फील मतलब हमें बताएंगे कि कैसा फील होता है, मतलब कैसी कंप्लीटनेस महसूस होती है उसके होने के बाद सेवा जब से आपने स्टार्ट की है? हरे
It's a very
कृष्ण।
wonderful service. It's a great privilege and great fortune. So I don't really think about the feelings of mind, because feeling of mind are more or less material. But we go through the Sastra Chakshu and eyes of the scriptures. So from scriptures, we understand it's a great privilege and great good fortune to get engaged in the service of the Lord. So with this mentality, when a devotee starts serving the Lord, so in the beginning, it may be difficult also. It may not be always very enthusiastic and blissful experience for all the devotees, because we have anarthas. But with the knowledge which we get from our spiritual master and scriptures, when we apply the knowledge and understand this is a great good fortune for me to get engaged in the service of the Lord. And then when we start doing the service, even out of duty, and out of considering ourselves to be very fortunate to engage in the service of the Lord, then gradually, by the mercy of the Lord, we get attached to the Lord. We get attached for serving Him. And in this way, we develop transcendental bliss also, transcendental satisfaction of mind. And then, after a certain period of time, a devotee experiences that he cannot leave the Lord. He becomes attached to the Lord. So this is the process. In the beginning, we perform the devotional service out of duty, out of fear or out of duty. But if we sincerely execute devotional service, then the same services will start performing out of pure love for the Lord. Okay. Yeah, but that is not so important thing. So I don't really consider that to be a great success. Of course, so if we can feel a great urge for the Lord and for our position, that's good. But uh, we should focus more on what we are supposed to do. So if we go on focusing on what we are supposed to do, and we are supposed to serve Krishna all the time, we are supposed to always remember Him. So if we go on executing these duties very nicely, then over the period of time, all these symptoms, this attachment, bhava for the Lord comes automatically. That is the result of performing sincere and serious devotional service to the Lord. So that automatically comes. So, but a devotee who is fixed up in serving the Lord in a proper spirit, the proper spirit is based on spiritual knowledge. So, if a devotee is fixed up in serving the Lord based on scriptural, proper spiritual knowledge, then for him it doesn't matter whether sometimes he is crying, sometimes he is feeling great love for the Lord or not feeling. That doesn't matter. He goes on in both the condition, he goes on serving. And even he doesn't know when sometimes he experiences bhava. So it may come and it may come sometimes and it may not come. Doesn't matter. That doesn't really matter. So we focus on the duties which are assigned by scriptures and spiritual master, and we try to just do it. Just do it is actually slogan of Lord Krishna. Nike has taken it, borrowed it. But actually Krishna said, just do it. Man manabha mad bhakto madhyaji mam namastu. You just serve me, you just think of me, you just hear about me. Gradually you will develop love for me. In seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, uh, असंशयम महाबाहो, what is that verse? मय्या सक्त मना पार्था योगम युञ्जन मदाश्रया, असंशयम महाबाहो यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु. My dear Arjuna, how you can develop full love for me? You hear from me how you can develop. Then Krishna explains that you engage in my devotional service, you chant my name, you think about me, you worship me, you offer your pranams to me, you hear about me. In this way, when you are always engaged, when your mind is always engaged in the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Navvidha Bhakti, then you can develop full attachment for me, and that attachment will not be flickering. That will be sthayi bhav, permanent attachment. But those who neglect to follow the process of sadhana bhakti, sometimes they may develop some kind of bhav out of sentiment, uh, but it will not long lasting. That's why, as practicing devotees, we should not really focus much on the bhav we develop for the Lord. Of course, that is most important. Actually, that is the backbone. That is the most important thing. But our focus is not on that thing. Our focus is on following the instructions of the spiritual master. Okay, जब कम हो
थैंक
रहे
यू
हैं।
प्रभु, थैंक यू सो मच। हरे कृष्ण।
अच्छा, नाम जप अभी कम हो रहा है आजकल, माता जी बोल रही हैं, क्योंकि जैसे नाम जप करने बैठते हैं, घर वाले उठा देते हैं। तो घर वाले को बोल के बैठिए कि देखो अभी मैं नाम जप करने बैठ रही हूँ, ठीक है, तो अगर आपको कुछ करवाना है तो अभी करवा लो, एक बार मैं बैठूंगी तो आधे घंटे बाद उठ। तो ऐसा कुछ डीलिंग कर लीजिए प्रेम से, उनको भी पता रहेगा कि भाई ठीक है, अभी कुछ काम है तो इनको बोल देते हैं अभी कर लो, और फिर जब मैं नाम जप करने बैठ रहे हैं तो फिर आप थोड़ा धैर्य रखिएगा, अनटिल अनलेस कुछ इमरजेंसी ना हो तो अगर कुछ बहुत इमरजेंसी है तो ठीक है, बीच में उठ के आप जाके काम कर दीजिए। लेकिन नहीं है, कुछ 15-20 मिनट बाद, आधे घंटे बाद कर सकते हैं, तो फिर बैठ के नाम जब अच्छे से कर लेना चाहिए, उसके बाद फिर कार्य करना चाहिए। अच्छा, उनको भक्ति से प्रॉब्लम है। ओ, तब तो फिर अलग केस है। फिर आप उनके सामने मत करिए। अगर आपके पेरेंट्स को या घर वालों को, रिलेटिव को आपके भक्ति करने से प्रॉब्लम है, इसलिए बार बार आपको उठा रहे हैं, तो एक अलग केस है। मैं पहले समझा कि आप नाम जप करने बैठ रहे हैं और वो आपको कुछ ना कुछ काम के लिए बोल देते हैं कि ये करो वो करो, तो उनको प्रेम से समझा सकते हैं। लेकिन उनको उस वक्त, अगर उनको अगर प्रॉब्लम नहीं है भक्ति करने से, तो फिर उनको समझा सकते हैं कि भाई आप काम दे दो, हम करेंगे, लेकिन जब मैं नाम जप किया करूँ तो आप उस वक्त डिस्टर्ब मत किया करो। तो वो अलग केस है। लेकिन अगर किसी के घर वालों को, पेरेंट्स को, रिलेटिव्स को अगर भक्ति से ही प्रॉब्लम है, वो चाहते ही नहीं कि आप भक्ति करो, तब बेटर है कि जब तक आप घर में हैं, जब तक आप स्टूडेंट हैं, जब तक आप उनके कंट्रोल में हैं, तब तक आप उनके सामने भक्ति मत करिए, छिप के भक्ति करिए। हाँ, फिर एक बार जब आप कॉलेज जाते हैं या जॉब करते हैं तो फिर आप स्वतंत्र रहेंगे, तो फिर आप करेंगे भी भक्ति, तो उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, वो ज्यादा रोक नहीं पाएंगे। लेकिन तब तक अभी के लिए आप छुप के भक्ति करिए, उनको मत पता करने दीजिए। जरूरत पड़े तो माला पे मत करिए जब, मोबाइल में है, या काउंटर ले लीजिए, मोबाइल के काउंटर में जप करिए इस तरह से, या बाहर निकल के जप करिए, छत में जाके जप करिए, गार्डन में जाके जप करिए, या जब वो लोग सो रहे हो सुबह सुबह तब जप करिए। तो अलग अलग तरीके हैं, तो अवॉइड किया जा सकता है, ठीक है। लेकिन जब जरूर करना है, जब करना किसी भी कंडीशन में छोड़ना नहीं है, चाहे घर वाले अलाउ करें या ना अलाउ करें। अलाउ करें तो अच्छी बात है, अलाउ नहीं करते हैं तो बिना उनके नॉलेज के जप करिए, और ये कोई भी पाप नहीं होगा, अपराध नहीं होगा, क्योंकि हमारे असली माँ बाप भगवान हैं। तो असली माँ बाप को सेवा अर्पण करने के लिए हमको अगर किसी से झूठ बोलना पड़े, छुपाना पड़े, तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, उसमें कोई पाप नहीं लगेगा। भगवान कभी आपको पाप का भागीदारी नहीं बनने देंगे, ठीक है। तो आप बस दृढ़तापूर्वक करते रहिए। ओके, तो अभी समय हो गया, यहीं पे विराम करेंगे। इससे रिलेटेड और कोई प्रश्न है आपका?